Hi lovely people and welcome back to my tutorial for today. I sincerely appreciate you guys for all your support. And please, if you're yet to subscribe, kindly do so by hitting on that red icon to subscribe. And also touch the notification bell so let all to be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And please watch this video till the end. In our today's class, we shall be cutting and sewing an off-shoulder pencil dress. So we'll be using this Ankara fabric for it, and this doll face satin for the hand. The hand will be a flay hand. So let's get started. Okay, we'll first of all cut down the down part first before cutting the upper part. So the measurement we are using, but the measurement for the dress is 59 inches. So, and the half length is 17 inches. So we minus the gown length from the half length. So 59 minus 17 will give us 42 inches. So we take down our 42 inches for the down part. So here our measurement will start from this point. So this is now our waistline. And for gown, from the waist to the hip line is 9 inches. So we take our 9 inches. Yeah. So this second line now is for our under hip. And the measurement for our under hip is 13 inches. So we mark our 13 inches here for our under hip. Then down to the hemline. So here the waist we are working with is 36 inches. We start our measurement from this part, and I left 1.5 inches here for my zipper. 36 divided by 4 will give us 9 inches. And I'll add my 1 inch for my dart. Then I'll add 2 inches for my seam allowance. The hip we are working with is 48 inches. Divide by 4 to give us 12 inches. So I'll mark my 12 inches here, and I'll add 2 inches for my seam allowance. Then for my under hip, the circumference is 47 inches. Divide by 4 will give me 11.75, which is here. Then I'll add 2 inches for my seam allowance. So I'll just connect it this way. I'll just make it a slight curve. Okay, for my hemline, which is our 42 inches, and I added 2 extra inches for my folding. So remember that from this under hip, what we have here plus the seam allowance here, we have 13.5. So we just take that 13.5 down to this same line. But because this is a pencil dress, we come in by 2 inches. You can come more than that depending how pencil you want it to be. But me, I'll be using just 2 inches. So from this point now, I'll just make a slight, just connect it with a straight line. this way, this way. Then I'll come down straight to those parts. So now I'll just cut them out. So this is for the down part. So we go ahead now and cut the other parts. Okay, for the upper part, remember we said that this is an off-shoulder dress, but I'll be cutting the upper part using the princess, the shoulder princess buster method. Then after cutting, I will join the two parts, then now minus my off shoulder. So here my half length is 17 inches. So I added 1 inch for the joining. Then for my under bust is 15 inches. I add half an inch that I will take from the upper part. Then from my shoulder to my bust point or nipple point is 12 inches. I added half an inch again here to be 12 and a half. So here, to get the upper bust, I will check the difference between this my bust point to my under bust, and you can see it's 3 inches. So I'll just go up here by 3 inches to get my upper bust, which is here. So I'll just make a straight line here, this way. Make a straight line this way, this way. I have my 3 lines this way. So now I will take my measurement. I'll start my measurement from this folded part. And the shoulder I'm working with is 16 inches. Divide by 2 will give us 8 inches. I'll just mark my 8 inches here. Then mark my 3 inches for our shoulder slope. Then here I will come down by 3 inches, then plus 1 inch for my shoulder slope, making it 4 inches. So I'll mark my 1 inch here, then mark my 3 inches. So here I will draw a straight line here. So now connect my shoulder slope, the 3 inch to the 1 inch. So from this under bust now, I will take my nipple to nipple measurement. And the nipple to nipple measurement I'm working with here is 8 inches. Divide by 2 will give us 4 inches. So here now I will add up whatever I want, that whatever I'll be using to join it. So here I'll be using 4¼ inch. If you're using half an inch, use 4½ inch. But here I'll be using 4¼ inch. So here I'll mark my 4.25 here. I'll come down here again and mark my 4.25. I'll mark the same thing here again and down to the waist. I'll just connect, just make a straight line here. So from this place now, I'll make a slight curve to meet this line, just this way. So here now so this is what I have. So now I'll proceed to cut out the the two sides. Okay, here I will place this center part here, and when you are placing it, make sure that you have up to 2.5 at the back. I'll just place it this way. So here, okay, sorry. Well, first of all, notch this point here first. I'll notch here the upper bust, the breast point, and the under bust. So I'll place it this way now. I'll just sketch out this shape here. Then I'll mark out that notch this way. So from this part, remember that we have taken out our shoulder slope, so no need of taking out the 1 inch again. So we do our normal shoulder measurement here, sorry, our normal armhole here. So the armhole I'm working with is 18 inches. Divide by 2 will give us 9 inches. So here I will mark my 9 inches. So at this point here, I will take my bust measurement. And the bust I'm working with is 41 inches. Divide by 4 will give us 10.25. And I'll add 2 inches for my allowance. Then here, I'll take my waist measurement. And the waist I'm working with is 36 inches. Divide by 4 will give us 9 inches. I'll mark my 9 inches here. Then here at this waist part, I will add 2.5 inches. So from this point now, I'll just curve it this way. This way. But this should be if we are cutting a princess bustier with shoulder. But since we are still going to minus our off shoulder from it, we don't need to do this. So we just make a little slight curve this way, just straight. That's something straight. Then now we remove this. Then we take that our 2.5 inches at the center mark. This place, this center place is where we take the 2.5. This way. We just mark our 2.5 here. So from this point now, to meet here, and from here now, from this third line, which is the under bust, Okay, this is what we have. Just make sure that this place doesn't pencil out well, that the shooting is not much. So I'll just go ahead now and cut. Reaching here, I will go up this way. So I'll have something like this shape, so that when after joining, I will now minus my 5 inches or 4 inches, whatever thing that I conclude I will use to minus my off shoulder. So now we proceed in cutting out the back part. Okay, this is for the back part. Remember, we for the back part we'll be now folding into two, but we will still divide all our measurements by 4 because we have already cut out the front part. So we just fold our fabric into two. Our half length is 17 inches. So for the off shoulder, I'll be minusing 5 from it. So 17 minus 5 will give us 12 inches. Then we add extra 1 inch for our joining. So here we'll take our 13 inches. Here, we'll just mark a straight line here now. Okay, so we have 1.5 inches here for our zipper. Remember, for the down part we used 1.5 for our zipper, so we are going to use that same 1.5 for this part. So here our measurement will start from this point. So here now we mark 8 inches here. So from here now, to get our armhole, I'll put my tape here from the 5 inches. And remember that our armhole is 18 inches, divide by 2 to give us 9. So here we have our 9 inches here. So at this point, we take our bust measurement. And the bust we are working with is 41 inches divided by 4 to give us 10.25, which is here. Then we add extra 2 inches. So from here, we make a slight curve here for our armhole. So there's a slight line here, from here to meet here. Then here will be our neckline. So here now we determine the shape we want our neck to be. So I'll be using for the neck depth, I'll be going down by 2 inches. So from here now, our waist measurement circumference is 38 inches. Divide by 4 will give us 9 inches. So we mark our 9 inches here. Then 1 inch for that. Then 2 inches for our seam allowance. I'll just cut it out. So this is for the back part. So I'll just quickly go ahead now and cut out the lining for all of them. And I'll also cut out my wooding that we use to pad the front part. Now I've cut out all my linings. I've also cut out my wooding. So I'll just go ahead now, proceed to my machine and stitch it up. Just line them up with the linings. Then the front, for the front part, I will join the center part with the by the sides. I'll just join them all. Then after, I'll come and show you how I'll my knot my 5 to trim it out. Then for this front part of this down, if this were to be a pencil skirt, I'll come down by 1 inch for the front part. I'll come down by 1 inch for this part, this opening part here. Now, this is folded into two. I'll just come down here by 1 inch. Then from this folded part here, I'll come down here by 1 inch. Then from here, I'll just make a slight curve to meet here. But since this is not a pencil skirt, I won't be removing anything. I'll just join it straight up. Okay, now I've neatly lined up everything. This is the back part. And I've also joined my lining for the front part. And this is the front. So now I'll just go ahead and trim out my 5 inches for the off shoulder. And this is also the down part. So I'll just proceed now to insert my dart. I'll just fold it this way. I'll close up here, then fold it this way into 2 equal parts. There, I will use half an inch from this side, half an inch from this side. Now determine how many I want it to be. So I'll be using like 5 inches for the back here. So I'll just sew this way. So I'll do the same thing for the front and the back. So after that, I will join each of the back parts to the back part of the dress. After putting my darts, I'll also put the darts here at the back part. Then I will join it, each part of the back. I will join the upper part and the down part. So let's just proceed and cut out this front. So here, when folding, make sure that you fold it 2 equal parts to avoid mistake. So from here now, I will take my 5 inches downwards this way. From here, I'll put it to take down my 5 inches, which is here. So here now, I'll just make a straight line this point here, this way. So here I will trim out this part. So here I'll just make the shape of the neck that I want, and that will be all. I'll do the same thing to the lining, then use it to turn it up. So I'll just quickly go to the machine now and do the joining, then join the back and the front, then add my dart. Okay, before I proceed in turning the top of the front up with the lining, I want to do something first. After getting this our neck line, we come in from the armhole by 1.5 inch. Just come in by 1.5 inch. Then from there we take our 4, minus 5, so we have 4 here. We just mark where the 4 is. From that 1.5 now, we now make a slight. We just land it from that 1.5 down to the 4 inches. So here now we are going to minus out, take out this part. So the next thing to do, because this is an off-shoulder dress, how to get an accurate sleeve, so that when you attach your sleeve to the dress, it won't be falling out or too tight. So very simple. What you have to do is to take your round measurement where you want it to be. For example, if you want your sleeve to stand here or to come down. It all depends on you where you want your sleeve to be. So you just take the round measurement. Just take your round measurement. So when you take it, for mine is 48 inches. So here now I will, okay, let me just minus this. So I will take my measurements like this, place this, make sure that this tape starts from this point here, this way. So what I have here is 8. So this 8 now times 4, this is folded into 2, then plus the back, so making it 4. So 4 times this 8 here will give us 32. So that's 32 now that we got. We minus the 48. We minus the 32 from the 48. That is our round shoulder. So after minusing the 48 from the 32, we have, so when we minus the 32 from the 48, which is our circumference, the sleeve that we measured, we have 16 inches. So that 16 inches now, we will now divide the 16 by 2 to give us 8. So each sleeve will be 8 inches. So for this dress, the sleeve I want to be attaching to it is a flay sleeve. So I'll be adding band before attaching my flay to the sleeve. So that band now that we're using will be 8 inches for each side. I hope you understand that each part of the sleeve will be 8 inches for my band. Then I will now cut out the flay. We will still cut it out together. But let me go to the machine first and do the joinings before we cut the sleeve. Okay, for my peplon, I'll just divide. My armhole is 18. So I'll just divide it by 6.28 to give me 2 point something. So I'll just use 2 here to cut out my armhole. So I'll just go around by 2 inches. I'll just connect it this way. Then the length is 10 inches. I'll just mark 10 inches. Okay, for the length I'll be using 9 inches. Sorry, not 10. So I'll just mark 9 inches round. Just adjust and mark 9 inches. After that, I'll just connect it. I'll go ahead now and cut this out. I'll use this one now to cut out the second one. Okay, now I have my 2 sleeve cut out. But this is subject to adjustment, because I don't want it to be this full, so I can just easily reduce the fullness. I'll just come here and I'll come in by I'll come in by 4 inches on those parts. I just come in by 4 inches here. Then I'll make just lance my line this way. So now I have this. Okay, well, remember that this will be attached to our band. I used 2 inches and I added half an inch for the joining. So what I will do now is to measure. Remember that for this band is 8 inches, but I added 2 inches both for joining and both for my joining. I added 1 inch for joining. So I'll just come here, instead of 4 inch, I'll mark 5 inches. Then I'll just lance it this way and chop it out. If the flake is still too much, you can still adjust it, but I think I'm okay with this. So I'll just quickly go to my machine now and do all the joinings. Okay, now as you can see, I've joined the upper part and the down part. This is the front part of it, and these are the back part. So I'll just place my back this way, then place the front part to it, making it to be equal. The essence of me doing this is to get my exact zipper allowance. So when I place it like this to be equal, anything that is left on the back part this way will be my zipper allowance. So I will just carefully make a straight line from up to down. So after that, I will remove this front part. So here I will determine where I want my zip to start and where it will end. Of course, it's starting from this part, from this edge here. So I will fixing my zip from here. I just mark 21 inches. So my zip will be stopping at this point. So I also determine where I want my slit to start from. So from this upper part now, I'll mark 34 inches. So I want the slit to come up for easy movement. So I'll just mark 34 inches here. So this simply means that I'm going to my machine now, that I'll sew from here, this place that the zipper will stop, to this point. So reaching here now, this remaining part will be the part for my slit. So I can just from here. So I will start from this place now, so to like here, they'll come up like 1 inch. Then I'll slant this way. I'll sew this way. So I'll just sew from here straight. Reaching here, I'll come down this way to meet this my 34 inches. So I'll quickly go to my machine now, close up those parts, then insert my zip. Okay, I've inserted my zip, and I've also closed up here, and this is my sleeve. And this is my slit. You can see. So I'll just use my iron to iron it. So when I press it, it will close up very well. But had it been I'm sewing a cloth that I want the slit to be open, I won't sew up inside here. I will just stop here so that it will look this way and this way, so that it will be an open slit. So since this is a closed one, I have to stitch down like this so that it will wrap together. So the next thing to do now is to use my body measurement and join the back and the front. So I'll just go ahead now and use my body measurements. Okay, sorry, before that, looking at the picture of the dress we are making, you will see that there is a kind of wrap. They use another fabric to make some ruffles at one end, then cross it over to the other end side, then it now drop. So here you just determine where you want the drop of the wrapper to be, either this side or this side. So I'll just determine where I want it to be. So I'll just cut out another wrapper. I've already cut it out and I've weaved the edges. As you can see, I've weaved it. So I'll just go to my machine, then gather it up at one end, then attach it to this place. After attaching it to the edge of the dress this way, I'll take my body measurement so that when I attach the other one, because it will be on top of the wrapper, not at the edge again, because this one, when I close it up, it will close up this place that I sew, but this part, the one that will drop, when I won't be sewing it to go inside. So I will take my measurement so that I will know where to sew the one that will drop. So when I finish that, I'll show you the result. Okay, for this wrapper, I used 45 inches for the length, and for the width, I used 26 inches. You can make yours more bigger or lengthier than it, depending on how and where you want the fall of the wrapper to stop. So I'll be using 45 by 26. So when I finish it up, I'll use my body measurement to close it up, and I'll show, then attach my sleeve, then I'll show you the final result. Okay, this is what I mean. You can see I've sewed it up at this edge, so I put my own at the right part, so this one will now fall this place. So just hold it up this way. So I'll now stitch it here, then this one will drop. I'll just go ahead now and use my body measurement to join it, and after that I will insert my sleeve, and that will be all. Okay, so this is the result of our dress. As you can see, it comes out very beautiful. You remember that I said something about taking this to wrap it this way. Initially, I said I'm going to stitch it off this way, but I changed my mind. So I just put a belt holder here, so I can wear it like this, or can decide to leave it to drop again this way. So thank you for watching till the end. Till we meet in my next class. And please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't leave without subscribing. It's absolutely free. Love you all. Bye.